Okay, today we're going to be looking at the fullback position, the roles and responsibilities, both when you've got the ball and you haven't got the ball. So we're going to start with roles and responsibilities when we have got the ball and what we should expect. And the first principle, the first thing that we look for from a fullback is width. So we're going to assume that the blue team, who I'm going to be working with, have just won the ball back from the red team, and you would have been quite narrow at that point because you were defending. So the first thing we want to do is to get quite big again and make the pitch big. So the right back would want to get nice and wide. The left back would want to get nice and wide as well. Wingers would push up. So you can see already the blue team have made the pitch really, really big just through those few movements. And the red team are going to want to come and make it compact because they're defending the ball now. And they don't want space in between the lines. So we've made the pitch big. And if that ball comes out there, you can see we're playing in a wide area, in a large area. So number one, make it big, get wide. Number two is that we want to try and support the winger in 2v1 situations through overlapping or underlapping runs as much as possible. So if the left back's got the ball here, if they play the ball into the winger, they're going to be pressed. And then that movement around the outside to double up against the opposition fullback is a really dangerous movement. This winger probably doesn't want to track all the way back there, so it's probably going to invite some cover from the centre half here. And this fullback has got a decision to make. As soon as that movement happens from the fullback, the opposition fullback has got a decision to make, either to go with them. If they go with them, that opens up space for the winger to turn and then they can play. If they don't track, then obviously the ball can just be popped in behind for the fullback to run onto, and then potentially a dangerous moment in the opposition final third. What we also want to see is if the winger has got the ball out wide, he's coming to support for a cross. Now again, this winger is going to apply pressure, but if that ball is popped back to the fullback, they can deliver a cross first time into the box, and that does need to be quick. Or if the defender has got in front, we can recycle, play back out to the opposite side again. And that's why the opposition fullback maintaining a degree of width is really important as well, because the opportunity to switch play comes through the fullback and that rotation through the back line. So 4 things we've spoken about there. We've spoken about being wide in possession. So as soon as you win the ball, try and get big and try and get wide. We've spoken about overlapping runs and underlapping runs as well. When the winger's got the ball. So can we make a 2v1 situation? And I'll just show that here. So you can see here, we've isolated that fullback in a 2v1, either by going around them, an overlapping run, or coming inside between the centre-back and the fullback for an underlapping run, and we make a 2v1 situation just there. We've talked about support for crosses. So if the winger has got the ball, they pop it back into the fullback who can whip a ball into the box. And we spoke about availability to support play as well. So if that ball does get rotated around the pitch, and then they can maintain possession and support play. And that comes from the switch of play as well as if midfielders have got possession of the ball, fullbacks are looking to offer an option just to retain possession. So that was really briefly the in possession guide for fullback. Out of possession, so if we lose the ball, so the Blues have got the ball and that's who I'm going to be focusing on. If that was to go into that player and this red player has won the ball back, as a fullback, I want to think, especially this right fullback who's not on the ball side of the pitch, we need to squeeze in and get narrow, okay? Because if our defensive principles are good, as a defensive block, we're going to come and get narrow and make this pitch really small. So pressure would come in here, pressure would come in here. Hopefully the winger would tuck in as well, and that allows our strikers to put pressure on from the front. So we want to be narrow. We're thinking about the distances between the fullback and the centre-back. So we're thinking about the distances here and the distances here as well. And we don't want those to open up too much, because if they do open up, that'll be really inviting for midfield runners to get through and make that run in between the lines. Or as you can see, the striker peeling off behind the right centre half here to get through them. So we want to make sure our gaps are nice and tight and we're squeezing across the pitch. and that we're maintaining a compact block. So communication, especially in the non-ball side as well, is really important. So I'd be expecting my right fullback here to be clearly communicating across the line, because they can see everything. They can see the offside line. They can see the distances between the midfield line and the defensive line as well. So their communication might be here. Actually, there's no immediate pressure on the ball. Say there's no immediate pressure on the ball. That gap has opened up too much. So we need to tuck in and we need to make that really tight. So the opposition have only really got an option in here, which we'd hope that would happen. And then we're only giving them alternatives to switch out and go around the block. So obviously the fullback has the responsibility for wide players. And what a fullback might get caught out on is if the red team are in possession and we've got a compact block here, an inexperienced right back would be really concerned, again, about the distances that have opened up here, and say that winger is really cheating there. So they'll be really concerned about that gap opening up. And some might want to come and press in there just so they've got a little bit more responsibility and direct responsibility for their fullback. For their opposition winger. We need to be really brave and stay compact and be in line with the back post here. If that ball does get switched out and come here, by the time that ball has travelled, the fullback's responsibility is to press while the ball is travelling, and the defensive line will come across like this. And you have press, you have cover from the centre-back. If that ball goes in behind, you have cover from the centre-back, and you have balance from your remaining two defenders. Obviously, the rest of the team will pull across as well, but I won't do that now. And most of the time, you want to show your winger wide. So you want to show them down the line and invite them into this space here, because the wide areas are the least dangerous areas, because the goal's in the centre. In other circumstances, if you are very high up the pitch, you might want to show your winger inside, into traffic, into trouble. But certainly as you get into as you get close to your own box, you would want to show your winger down the outside here. So again, 4 really clear responsibilities. We're narrow when we lose the ball. We're really compact, and we're measuring the distances between our centre-back and the full-back. If we're non-ball side, we're also looking across the line, and we're looking for any risks between the lines and for offside and opposing runners. And we're offering communication to our centre-backs as well, who will be looking at the ball rather than us. And rather than their man, they might have a striker that's peeled off on their shoulder. So we're telling them that their striker's on their shoulder, or left shoulder, right shoulder, and just giving them bits of information. We have responsibility for the wingers, and we need to press the wingers. But if we are the non-ball side fullback, we still need to be compact and then press out when the ball is switched round. And we, in the main, show our wingers down the line rather than inside. Like I said, you could show wingers inside, or you could show players inside if you're in the opposition's half into a busy area. But certainly if you're in your own half, you'll want to show people down the line. I hope that was clear. Thank you.